Say, Uncle Dan, it sounds like you have an exciting Bible story for us.
Right, Aunt Sue. A lot of interesting things happen in this story taken from Genesis, chapters 11 and 12. I call it
The Call of Abraham.
For some time after the great flood, the children of Noah dwelt among the mountains where the ark had rested. As the population grew, there were some that turned away from God and journeyed to the plain of Shinar. And they said one to another,
Let us build us a city and a tower, the top of which shall reach unto heaven.
And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower. And the Lord was displeased and said, Let us confound their language, so that they may not understand one another's speech.
What's the matter with you fellows? Sounds as though you've got rocks in your mouth. If you don't straighten up and start talking so we can understand you, we'll never get this Tower of Babel built. Now start over again and see if you can't get... Come on! The Tower of Babel!
Thus the people that had revolted against God were scattered abroad upon the face of all the earth. But Noah, with his son Shem, remained true and faithful.
Shem, my son, I am about to die, being 950 years of age. After my death, you will become the patriarch of our family. You yourself, before the flood, have talked many times with Methuselah. Methuselah spent many years with Adam, so you know full well the origin of sin and its terrible consequences. You, my son Shem, must be the caretaker of God's truths and his laws for future generations. Shem, remember Ham and Japheth, thy brothers. Remember them. Be true, always, my son.
And all the days of Noah were 950 years, and he died. Not long after the death of Noah, a very important event took place in the household of Terah. A son was born.
A boy. A son. I shall call him Abram.
Abram? That means the Father is exalted.
Years pass, and then another important event took place. Abram was married.
You are now my wife, Sarah. Think of it. My wife.
I'll try to be a good wife to you, Abram.
With love for God and for each other, we'll have a happy home.
I do love you, Abram.
I love you, Sarah.
Now Abram had two brothers, Nahor and Haran, all sons of Terah. And Haran died in the land of his nativity, in Ur of the Chaldees.
Son, I am the patriarch of this family. According to custom, I am the leader and recognized authority in making family decisions. However, on this occasion, I stand aside while Abram, Terah's son, speaks to you about a certain matter. He has my consent and blessing to take over this informal meeting. Abram.
Thank you, Grandfather Shem. I need not point out that superstition and heathenism is all about us. In fact, and this is the sad truth, the seductive influences of this trend away from the true God has penetrated even into this family, this household. Idol worship is fast becoming a commonplace thing. This is displeasing to God, and for some time I have been seeking God's counsel as to what he would have me do about it. And behold, it came to pass while I was praying and offering sacrifices unto God. God of all creation, I pray thee, deliver us from the sin of idol worship that is fast creeping in among the descendants of Shem. We are fast becoming like...
Abram, get thee out of thy country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house unto a land that I will show thee. And I will make of thee a great nation, and I will bless thee, and make thy name great, and thou shalt be a blessing. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse them that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families of earth be blessed.
Grandfather Shem, Father Terah, and Nahor my brother, it was God who spoke to me. He has commanded me to go to a land that I know not. Nevertheless, I and my wife Sarah and all of my servants and flocks and herds shall soon journey from the land of Ur. Will not you also go with us?
Just a minute, my sons. Were I a little younger, I would join Abram. But you, my sons, are young and full of good health. Who among you will join Abram? No one.
What about you, Father Terah?
I will go with you, my son. I shall take my nephew Lot and all my servants and household and seek a more fitting home.
I hope, my husband, that you're doing the right thing, leaving Ur like this.
Sarah, dear, I am sure of it. God is leading, we will follow. He will show us a better land, a place where we can worship him undisturbed.
Perhaps there is no such place, Abram.
No such place in all the world.
You must remember, dear, that we in Ur were only a very small part of the descendants of Shem. What about the descendants of Ham and Japheth? At the destruction of the Tower of Babel, they were scattered abroad over the entire earth. Why, by this time they'll have multiplied and become many in all corners of the earth.
Perhaps. Yet we must not question God's leading.
But, son, some of the folks are beginning to wonder just where we're going.
And you, Father? Do you feel the same way?
No, son. It makes no difference to me where we go, just so we can worship and obey the true God.
Abram, your father wants to see you.
Is there anything the matter with him?
I don't think so. I guess he just wants to talk to you before we leave camp for the day's journey, that's all.
Where is he?
He's down by the brook, near that large tree.
Father, you look ill.
No, just tired, weary, getting old, I guess.
Oh, you're not old, Father.
I'm nearing the 200 mark. Anyway, I didn't ask you to come here to talk about me. I was wondering, in the night I got to thinking, what do you think of this land?
Here?
Yes, right here.
Are you contemplating remaining here?
Well, what do you think of it? I mean, the land, the scenery, the people.
I haven't seen many people. Hardly any at all. On the land, the scenery it's beautiful, it's magnificent. It looks like good soil. This might be very productive. And there's water here and plenty of room. Yeah. Might be a good idea at that, to stay right here for a while. Make our home here.
I'm getting old, son. Too old to journey about, and I want a home. A place to rest and enjoy my children and grandchildren. Abram, my son, let us remain here.
And so for a time, Abram with his father Terah dwelt in this place called Haran. And the days of Terah were 205 years. And he died in Haran and was buried there. After the death of Terah, the divine voice again spoke to Abram.
Abram, get thee out of this country and from thy kindred and from thy father's house, and go unto a land that I will show thee, and I will make of thee a great nation.
You're a man of faith, Abram.
Faith? The Lord said go, and I'm going. That's not faith. That's merely simple obedience.
But where are you going?
The Lord didn't say.
You're just going to start out and go?
Yes.
How are you going to feed me and the servants and the cattle and sheep?
The Lord will provide.
That is faith.
And Abram departed as the Lord had spoken. And he took with him Sarah his wife, Lot his nephew, and all the substance they had gathered, also all the souls they had gleaned in Haran. And they left Haran and traveled southward. For days and days they traveled, farther and farther south, until finally they came upon a beautiful and fertile valley set between two mountains.
Are we going to live here?
Well, we'll camp here for a few days.
Abram, look at the valley. Beautiful grass, olive groves, springs, and fig trees and pomegranates. Great vineyards and plenty of pastures for the herds. Oh, Abram, what better place to make our permanent home?
Well, as you said, this is a beautiful spot, but look, inside the olive groves. What do you see?
Why, something that has the appearance of altars.
Yes, altars to false gods. And up there on the mountains, do you know what goes on up there? Sacrifices to false gods, human sacrifices.
No.
These Canaanites are an alien race. Idolatry is everywhere. I can't understand why God has led us here.
Well, when are we going to move on?
I await instructions from God. We will do whatever He commands.
Abram, unto thy seed will I give this land.
Then did Abram build an altar unto God, and worshipped him. The weary traveler was much encouraged by the assurance that the divine presence was with him. And Abram removed from thence and journeyed, going on still toward the south. And a great famine came unto the land.
But, Abram, I'm hungry. Everyone is. Even the flocks and herds are suffering for lack of food. I think we ought to go back to Haran.
God brought us here, and here we should remain.
But you can't let us starve, Abram. The entire camp is watching you, Abram, to see what you'll do.
God won't let us starve, Sarah dear.
No, not if we go where there's food. Back to Haran. And you'd take us back there if you truly loved us, Abram.
Sarah.
We would.
Sarah.
Don't love me.
I do love you. But I must seek God in prayer before making a decision.
Abram could not explain why God had permitted the famine, but he would not turn back. With earnest prayer, he considered how to preserve the life of his people and flocks. Finally, he made a decision. He would move into the land of Egypt until the famine was over.
Abram? Abram?
Oh, yes, Sarah?
Something troubling you?
Sarah, do you really love me?
Of course I do, Abram. Very much.
Enough to save my life?
Save your life? From what?
From the king of Egypt.
Oh,
I'm
Abram.
serious, Sarah dear. When King Pharaoh sees you, he'll want you, and wanting you, he'll get you. You know how kings are. They get what they want regardless. And if the king discovers that you are my wife, he'll find some way to kill me so that he can take you.
Oh, I'm sure you're worrying uselessly, Abram. The king isn't so...
Please, Sarah.
Please what?
Listen to what I'm going to suggest you do about it. When you are asked about me, simply say that I'm your brother. Then my life will be spared.
In either event, if the king thinks you're my husband or my brother, if he wants to, he'll take me anyway.
There's nothing we can do about that.
But passing me off as your sister, Abram, isn't that a deception?
That you are my sister. Half-sister.
Oh, I know that, Abram, but still it is deception. I wouldn't be telling all the truth. I don't think any good can come from deception. Only evil and sorrow and heartache.
Abram, Prince of Canaan, to see his majesty, great monarch of all Egypt, son of the gods and benefactor of mankind.
Prince Abram, come forward.
Long live the king. Long live the king.
Welcome to my country, Prince Abram.
If it please his majesty, I should like asylum here in Egypt until the great famine in Canaan is at an end.
Well, I'm told, Prince Abram, that you're a man of great wealth, with large flocks of sheep and herds of cattle. Is this true?
In a very modest way, your majesty.
Well, your request is granted, Prince Abram. Egypt is proud to welcome you into its borders. You will be accorded every courtesy. Make yourself at home, Prince Abram.
Thank you, your majesty.
Prince Hotep, you will escort Prince Abram and his entourage to the land of honor.
Yes, your majesty. This way, please, Prince Abram. Long live the king.
Prince Hotep, to see his majesty, great and mighty monarch
Come
of all
forward,
Egypt.
Prince Hotep.
Long live the king. Long live the king.
Did you get Prince Abram and his household properly settled?
Oh, yes, sir, and I think
Is
that...
he as wealthy as he's reputed to be?
Oh, he's a man of great wealth, your majesty.
Ah.
And also of great understanding and discernment.
Did you perchance talk to him about his religious beliefs?
Prince Abram told me all about his God, your majesty.
Ah, did you see his God?
Oh, no, your majesty. His God is not a God of wood or stone.
Huh?
He's a living God. His name is Jehovah.
Living? In the flesh?
In heaven. Invisible.
Hmm.
And, but your majesty, I wish to... I wish to inform you of a very special consideration.
Yes? What do you mean?
Your majesty, there is in the camp of Prince Abram a very beautiful, a very desirable young woman. Oh, she's likened to the goddess of beauty.
Yes, Prince Abram's wife, no doubt.
Oh, no, your majesty. She is the prince's sister.
Sister? Oh, well, what would you have me do? Give you permission to make the young lady your wife?
I? Oh, no, your majesty. I was thinking of you.
Oh.
Sarah, that's her name. Sarah is so beautiful that, the minute I beheld her, I thought of you, your majesty.
Yes. Prince Hotep, do you think you can prevail upon the young lady to come here so I can judge for myself how beautiful she is?
I'm sure of it, your majesty.
Well, then be gone. Bring her to me at once.
Yes, your majesty. Long live the king. Long live the king.
What will I do, Abram?
You'll have to go to the palace with the man, as the king wishes.
I told you only evil can come from deception.
Nothing evil has happened. The king merely wants to see for himself if you're as beautiful as he's been told.
He wants to add me to his long list of wives.
Well, that's better than killing me and then still making you his wife.
You don't seem to care about me. How do you think I feel, becoming the wife of a foreign king? I'm your wife, Abram. I love you. But you, all you care about is saving your own life.
Oh, Sarah. It was wrong of me to try and deceive the king. I can see that now. I will confess my sin to God, and then I shall pray without ceasing that God will let no harm come to you in the king's palace. Somehow, Sarah, God will rescue you from the clutches of the king. As you appear before the king, have faith. Believe that God will rescue you. And forgive me, Sarah, for the mistake I've made.
Now, Princess Sarah, you remain right here for a moment while I step in before the king to announce your arrival.
I understand, Prince Hotep.
Prince Hotep, servant of the great king of all Egypt, announcing the arrival of Princess Sarah, sister of Prince Abram.
You may come forward, Princess Sarah.
Long live the king.
Ah, greetings, Princess Sarah. You may withdraw, Prince Hotep.
Long live the king.
Well, you're indeed a very charming lady, Princess Sarah. I'm delighted that you would accept my invitation to the palace.
On the contrary, Your Majesty. I'm here because I had no other choice, as you very well know.
Oh, fear not, my princess. I know that you have but just come to Egypt. You're yet a stranger to our country and our ways. However, your king is a man of great patience and understanding. We'll take a few days to acquaint you with the ways of the royal household.
Not many days later.
Your Majesty, Your Majesty, the royal herdsman reports that His Majesty's cattle are dying of a strange malady. Your Majesty, more cattle are dying. Your Majesty, everything His Majesty possesses seems to be troubled by this great plague. Your Majesty, a strange and unnatural malady has struck all Egypt.
Call together my wise men and magicians immediately. A disaster has struck Egypt. You claim to be wise and possess powers of divination, yet you cannot give me the simple answer as to why my land and my people have suddenly come under the spell of this malady. Away with you, begone!
Your Majesty.
Yes, Prince Hotep, what do you want?
I can answer His Majesty's question.
You know the reason for this malady?
Your Majesty, a deception has been perpetrated against you and your people.
A deception? Who would dare do such a thing to me? Off with his head, whoever it is.
Be it known to His Majesty that the deceiver is Prince Abram.
Huh? Prince Abram? Prince Abram of Canaan?
The same, Your Majesty.
Well, what sort of evil could he possibly plot against me?
It is Princess Sarah, Your Majesty.
Huh? The princess? Well, what about her?
She's the wife of Prince Abram.
The wife? She's his sister. She herself said so.
Abram instructed her to, Your Majesty. Shall I have him beheaded, Your Majesty?
Beheaded? No. He's our guest. We cannot
but Your
ill-treat a
Majesty,
guest.
he deceived you, and he's the one
Prince
who's
Hotep,
responsible.
go fetch Prince Abram before me at once.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Be gone.
Long live the king. Long live the king.
Lackey, when Prince Hotep arrives with Prince Abram, have them brought to my private chambers. I wish to be alone with Prince Abram. You may leave.
Yes, Your Majesty. Long live the king.
Prince Abram, you deceived me, didn't you?
Yes, I did, Your Majesty.
Ah, then it's true that Sarah's your wife, not your sister.
She is my half-sister, Your Majesty.
Yes, but she's also your wife.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Ah, Prince, you're here in Egypt as a guest. Now, we feel responsible for your safety and welfare. I cannot let harm come to you, but I'm very disappointed in you. You deceived me. Almost let me make the grave mistake of marrying Sarah when she already has a husband. Why have you done this to me? Why?
I shouldn't have, Your Majesty.
Well, I'll tell you why. Princess Sarah's very beautiful. You knew I'd desire to take her to be my wife, and you were fearful that I'd take your life. That doesn't speak very highly of your opinion of me, does it?
I'm sorry, Your Majesty.
Sorry? Being sorry doesn't make up for the plagues that have stricken my cattle and my household, does it?
No, Your Majesty.
Does the God you worship condone deception?
No, Your Majesty.
Well, then why did you do it? By the way, Prince Abram, is your God really that powerful? Powerful enough to bring calamity upon me and my people just to save your wife from becoming my wife?
The God of heaven is all-powerful, Your Majesty. He protects those who serve and worship him.
Yes, well, I don't think you've served him very loyally.
I have confessed my sin, Your Majesty. God has forgiven me.
Yes, well, I'm not your God, and I can't forgive you.
I understand.
I'm afraid to let you remain here, Abram. If anyone in my kingdom were to harm you in any way, your God would again bring judgments upon me and my house. I can't take that chance, so I must ask you to leave Egypt.
Yes, Your Majesty.
Prince Hotep, he'll see that you're safely escorted to the border.
Yes, Your Majesty.
See that a company of soldiers is made ready immediately to escort Prince Abram and his retinue to the border of Canaan.
Yes, Your Majesty. Long live the king. Long live the king.
Now, I suppose you're anxious to be reunited with your wife.
That I am, Your Majesty.
Well, remain here. I'll send her in.
You're very kind, Your Majesty.
Goodbye, Prince Abram.
Sarah.
Abram. Oh, Abram.
Oh, Sarah, darling. Oh, don't cry. We're together again, and everything's all right.
What about the king?
He knows that you're my wife, and he graciously restored you to me. But he has ordered us to leave Egypt immediately.
Abram, I told you that nothing good can ever come from a lie. Not even a little white lie.
Detail, halt! Whoop! Whoop! This is the border of Canaan, Prince Abram.
Yes, I know. And I'm very grateful to you and to your king for this kindness.
May your God watch over you, Prince Abram, and bless you.
Thank you, and goodbye, Prince Hotep.
Goodbye, sir.
Goodbye, Prince Hotep.
Back in Canaan again.
Happy, Abram.
Happy. Yes. Happy that God has forgiven me for a grave mistake. And happy that he has brought you safely back to me again.
Oh, Abram.
Up. Get up.
Ranger Bill, warrior of the woodland, struggling against extreme odds, traveling dangerous trails, fighting the many enemies of nature. This is the job of the guardian of the forest, Ranger Bill. Pouring rain, freezing cold, blistering heat, snow, floods, bears, rattlesnakes, mountain lions. Yes, all this in exchange for the satisfaction and pride of a job well done.
Say, have you ever thought about becoming a wild animal trainer? Sure, I have too. But you'd better not get your P's and Q's mixed up in that business, or it'll be just too bad. Well, today's story is about a wild animal trainer, and we've named it Sultan, King of Beasts. Let's drop over to Ranger headquarters. Seems like Stumpy's got us entranced with what he's saying.
And I'm telling you, young whippersnappers, I ain't never seen a lion as big and as tough as this Sultan they've got over there at Kittyland.
We'll have to go over and see the old boy. Has he got big teeth, Stumpy?
You just stick your arm in his cage and you'll find out how big his teeth are.
I guess you have answer you weren't expecting, Henry. Stumpy, you talked to our friend Flick Martin?
Nope, he was busy training some bears at the time.
Say, when are we going down there, fellas?
What's the matter with right now?
Okay,
let's go. Pretty good.
You know, fellas, the Kittyland is only a year old now, but it's gained statewide popularity already. More than just a fun ground, it has many educational features as well.
Yeah, I'll say. The best, I think, are the wild animal acts. Then the children can see them in their cages, too.
Well, what do you say we open the door, fellas? Easier to get out that way.
Funny how we're all ganged around the door waiting for somebody else to open it.
Yeah, that shows we were all thinking about something else.
Yeah, I know. Sultan, the big lion at Kittyland.
better knock off playing housemaid to them grizzlies, Paul. Sam tells me that Sultan's got a bad paw. Must have heard it when he was traveling here from the coast. Let's take a look at it.
Okay, Flick. I'll lock the cage and be right there.
You always test those cage doors, don't you?
Sure thing. If one of those big guys ever got out, it'd be too bad for all of us.
Yeah. Well, let's go over and see Sultan.
Say, what's the matter? You look jumpy.
Oh, it's nothing. Nothing at all.
Okay, but you're acting strange today. Worried about Sultan's bad paw, maybe?
Yeah, that's it. I am worried about his bad paw.
Hiya, Flick. Paw? Go over look at Sultan's foot?
Yeah. Which one is it, Sam?
Oh, it's the right front one.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. Notice how he favors his right front paw even though he doesn't limp.
Yeah, I see it. How are you going to examine that pacing cyclone, boss?
Get me a rope, Sam.
Sure hope it works.
Say, boss, that ain't no lion cub in there. He ain't used to be handled that way. You're going to have a battle. I wouldn't do it.
Okay, I'm listening. How would you do it?
Well, I don't know. You can't go in there. We can't dope his food because he might refuse to eat food after that. Well, jumping bullfrogs, Flick, I should have kept my mouth shut. I don't know how you're going to do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, forget it. Here comes Sam with the rope. Get ready for action. All right, get ready. Now, I'll lay the loop inside the cage on the floor. When he paces back this way, you'll step in it. Then we'll pull his right front leg through the bars so I can treat the injured paw.
Here he comes. Closer. Closer. Ready now. Throw the rope inside, boss.
Here goes the loop on the floor.
Don't stick your arm in there too far. You'll jump on it.
Oh, no lions that fast. There.
Look out, Flick!
Go get the doc, Paul. Sultan tore Flick's arm open.
Tear my shirt up and bandage my arm. I'm going into that cage and take care of that lion's paw. I'll show him who's boss.
Don't be crazy, boss. That cat'll kill you. He's insane with anger now.
Do as I say.
Okay. I don't want to lose a good boss, that's all.
Sultan, you and I are going to have this out right now. Well, that's good enough with the bandage, Sam. Get ready to open the cage door. My whip's just over there, and I'm going in.
Okay. Whenever you're ready now.
Open the cage door, Sam.
Sure, Flick. I still don't think you're asking for it.
There you are, old boy. Now get back in the corner of your cage like a good fella, so I can look at your bad paw.
He's coming at you. Not making a sound.
Get back there. Back into your corner. Get back there. Go on. Move on. Come on now. Sam, get ready to open the cage door and come around.
You said it, boss.
Lock it carefully, Sam.
I got it. I don't blame you for changing your mind. I wouldn't have stayed in there either.
I didn't change my mind, Sam.
Huh? What do you mean, Flick?
Sultan changed it for me. I didn't stay in there because I'm afraid of him. My mind's made up, Mr. Franks. I'm through. I'll get some other kind of a job. But not training wild animals.
Now, Flick, suppose you take a month's vacation and really rest up, and then make your decision. You've been working too hard. 5 new animals in 5 months, a big order for training.
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Franks, but I'm all washed up. I've lost my nerve.
Now, son, let's not go off the deep end. You like working for me, don't you?
You said it. That's why I feel so badly. I've never had a better boss in my life.
Well, why don't you take your vacation starting today? We'll cancel the animal stunts for a month. Then you can start again. I know you'll think differently after a good rest. A month's vacation with pay sounds good, doesn't it?
Oh, it sure does, Mr. Franks. And I appreciate your generous and considerate offer. I know you're trying to help me. I guess it's hard to convince a person how you feel inside. Deep down inside, Mr. Franks, I have a big fear of Sultan. A terrible fear.
Where can I get another man who can handle the cats the way you do? The bears aren't so hard to handle, but the cats are a different story. Are you going to leave me in the lurch just like this?
Oh, I know this isn't a picnic for either of us. Well, I'll think it over, Mr. Franks. I'll give it lots of thought.
Ah, you're talking like you should. Think about that vacation offer, too. It's still good, you know.
Oh, thanks, Mr. Franks. I appreciate your kindness. Oh, if I could only beat off this fear.
Why are you afraid of Sultan? You're not afraid of the other animals.
I don't know why I'm afraid of Sultan. Unless it's because he's so untamed.
But so were the others when I bought him for you, Flick. How can Sultan be so different?
That's a good question. How? I don't know. There's something inside Sultan's makeup that just makes me scared.
Okay, now, Black Beauty. Boy, look at Flick put those lions, tigers, and panthers through their paces. He sure has good control of them.
Come on.
Oh, that's some trick.
Get up on your stool, Black Beauty. Had a girl, Black Beauty. Had a girl. Up there now, behave
Oh,
yourself.
Flick has perfect control of animals at all times.
Yeah, I should say he has. There's one thing I miss.
What's that, Bill?
That big lion they recently acquired.
Oh, yeah, Sultan. I've never seen that old boy,
There you go.
but he's not here, that's for sure.
Well, I see that the first second we come in here, but I didn't want to say anything.
Get over there.
None of my business why Flick ain't working him with the rest of the animals. I ain't no lion tamer. I couldn't even tame a polecat. Say nothing about a full-grown, oversized, genuine male African lion.
Sam, Paul, take them back to their cage. I'll tell you when to send Sultan in. I want to talk to the fellows a bit anyhow.
Is that Sultan roaring, Flick?
Yeah, that's Sultan. He wants to get a workout. But he's a tough character to handle.
Hey, that is, we sort of noticed you didn't have him in here with the rest of the critters.
Well, I don't want to have a cat fight, Stumpy. Sultan's too untamed, and well, he might tangle with Raja, my big tiger. Then the fat would be in the fire for sure. Those cats cost too much money, time, and effort to let them destroy one another.
You really love those animals, don't you?
Yeah, just as much as you fellas love the animals of the forest, so I love the animals of the jungle. Say, Bill, you're carrying a .45, aren't you?
Why, yeah, sure. Why, Flick?
Look, give me 6 bullets for one of my revolvers. I'll leave one full of blanks and one loaded with live ammunition.
One loaded? Oh, sure. Here you are.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. But, why the real bullets?
Well, I suppose you might as well know. I'm afraid of that big cat. Really afraid of him, and, well, I want this gun loaded with real bullets in case he gets scent of my fear.
You mean he can smell fear?
You sure can, pal. All animals can smell the fear scent given out by human beings. This only enrages them, makes them more dangerous.
Oh, how about that?
Could you shoot Sultan if you really love him?
Yeah, I could. If it comes to a showdown as to whether it's his life or mine.
But why are you afraid of Sultan?
I don't know. I really haven't been able to put my finger on it. Well, I have to give Sultan his workout. Sam, Paul, send Sultan in.
Hey, Paul, why the high-powered rifle?
Sultan's in a nasty mood again, Mr. Jefferson. Flick's orders.
Oh?
Jump over that, Sultan. Jump over this hoop. Come on, jump.
Man, did you see that? Sultan didn't jump, but he turned on Flick. He's ready to fight.
Funny thing. Flick's not training Sultan any different from the others. That lion's just plain ornery.
Hey, here comes Flick out of the arena. Why's he got his head down and his face here?
He's embarrassed. Let him be. You ready to call it a day, Flick?
Yeah. Am I glad that's over? And the reason I'm glad is this. Remember when I hollered for Sultan to jump and fired the pistol like I always do?
Yeah?
Well, by some means or other, he was able to pivot about instead of jumping, and he lashed out at my face with his paw and just grazed my cheek. Take a look.
Man, look at that.
Great Scott, that was close. There are 3 gashes right across your face, from one cheek across your nose and onto the other cheek. That narrow escape was really narrow, wasn't it, Sonny? You wouldn't look so good without a face.
The truth is, fellows, I think Sultan's out to get me.
How come we're walking back to headquarters, Bill? Not that I mind, though.
I just can't get Flick Martin off my mind.
I know what you mean, poor fella. How can we help him?
That's the puzzle. We're agreed that he needs help, but how? This is a type of job that's different than the regular run-of-the-mill ones.
Well, there's one thing for sure. He's got to get his courage back.
That's what we've got to help Flick find.
Ladies and gentlemen, attention please. Welcome to Kittyland. And I will bring out Flick Martin and his big cats without further delay. Please do not make any more noise than necessary. And now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Flick Martin and his Black Panthers.
It's a good thing Bill sent us here to watch Flick. I've got old Betsy right here alongside of me if one of them black rascals gets any ideas.
I can see Flick nervous. I don't like it.
Look at the teeth on that big black feller. Boy, what I wouldn't give to be his dentist. It'd take 6 weeks to drill out a cavity in that tooth.
Come quick. Flick's trouble with Big Panther.
Let's go, Sonny. Old Betsy's waiting to speak her piece.
Come on, Stumpy. Flick's in fight with the Panther.
You ain't just joking, Sonny. Put on around on the side.
There. Escape door ahead, Stumpy. You better use rifle. The Panther's going to get Flick. Other Panthers get Rascal's too.
Oh, pick that black rascal's teeth out one by one with a rifle ball if he don't stop.
Grey Wolf, get that safety door open so I can get out. Quickly, I can't hold this Panther off much longer.
I'll have it open real soon, Flick.
We'll see how you like a couple of rifle balls on your toenails, you black scrapper, you.
Okay, Flick, you come out now.
Go on, you black killer! Get back there! Back up! And quit your complaining! Be thankful I didn't part your whiskers with a rifle ball!
Will, slam that safety door tight.
Not close. You hurt bad?
No, just skin grazes. You never got that close.
Go on, all you overgrown house kitties! Get out of here and back to your cages!
Ladies and gentlemen, we're sorry we cannot entertain you today with the Wild Animal Act due to circumstances beyond our control.
Let's go to dressing room, Flick.
Yeah, quick.
Go ahead, fellas. I'll keep the people away. Wasn't bad enough with the Black Panthers. Now it's the people who are after you. And sometimes I don't know which is the worst.
Well, that does it.
Does what, Flick?
My career as a wild animal trainer is over. I'm afraid of even the Panthers now.
Listen, Flick, you're not a quitter, are you? You're not going to let those cats call your bluff.
What do you mean, bluff? How would you like to get into that arena with them?
Flick, I've had just as close calls out on the trail.
But I'm not a coward because I'm afraid, am I? Am I, Stumpy?
You'll have to answer that question yourself, Sonny. I've been in this game a long time. Don't ever forget that God made man the master of animals. Animals are to serve man, not boss 'em. Whether you've lost your courage or not ain't for me to say.
Oh, I don't know what I'm doing right now. I really don't want to quit training animals. I love them, and I enjoy working with them. And I think they're attached to me, but... Well, this crazy fear I have of Sultan has affected me so that I'm becoming afraid of all of them.
Tell you what, let's all relax down at the drugstore, huh? Maybe after a soda or something we'll feel better, and then we can talk.
Good idea. Let's go.
Hey, pretty good crowd in here today.
Yeah, unusually large. Most of them came in after we did. You know, Henry, I've got a feeling...
And then I drove the Black Panther back, and then he looked me in the eye, and, oh, well, I got plumb scared.
Why, that two-bit lion tamer.
Wait a minute, Flick.
So then I backed up, and I backed more, and soon I was running for the gate. I hollered, let me out, let me out!
Stumpy! Grey Wolf, Henry, get Flick out of here. That's an order.
Bill, I'm gonna beat that guy's ears, and if it's the last thing I do...
Oh, you're not.
Come on, Flick, you hear order.
I won't go. I'll fight my own battles. Let go of me.
Henry, you take other arm. I take this.
Let go of me. Come on.
You go out, Flick.
Let go of me.
You need help, Bill.
Get going, fellas. I'll take care of this situation.
Boy, I've never seen Bill so angry all my life. His face almost purple.
Hey, you with the big mouth. Step out here. I'm talking to you there in the corner. Aren't you the one who was just making fun of Flick Martin?
Yeah, I was. Why? Free country, isn't it?
Not for that kind of talk, it isn't. Have you ever been in a cage with wild animals?
No, I haven't.
Have you ever developed a fear complex for no good reason at all?
No, I haven't.
All right. All you folks, listen to me. You were just poking fun at a young man who needs help. A lot of help. From all of us. You know about Sultan, the new lion over at Kittyland Park? Not only is Sultan a very beautiful black maned lion, but he's extremely ferocious and ornery. He's a real tough guy, almost to the point of being unconquerable.
I didn't know about that.
That wasn't in the newspapers. Isn't being advertised around either. So let's not make public remarks. Let's go to the arena and encourage Flick when he's working with his animals. Flick's not a failure. He's just got a terrific problem to lick. And he can do it with your help. All right, what do you say? Are you willing?
Sure, I'll go with you, Mr. Bill.
I ask you to come today, Bill, because... well, somehow you give me courage and confidence. Will you just sit close to the animal arena while I put the animals through their paces? I'm going to try just one last time.
Okay, Flick. If it'll help you, I'll be glad to do it.
Is that right? You're going to work Sultan in with the rest of the cats today?
Yeah. I'm going to try it just once more. Sultan and I just once more. Okay, let's go. Stand by me, fellas. I need your support.
We'll be there, young feller. If that Sultan feller gets tough, I'll handle him all right, yes, sirree.
How are you going to do that, Stumpy?
Why, I'll grab him by the tail and swing him around and around till he gets so dizzy in the head he won't be able to tell right from left.
Well, Flick's feeling better already. First time he's laughed in quite a while. All right, fellas, let's go. Just between us, fellas, I don't like the way Sultan's looking at that big tiger Raja.
Yeah. Looks as if the Raja's got a chip on his shoulder, too.
Look, Flick motioned to us. Let's go over by arena.
Yeah. What's wrong, Flick?
Sultan, get back up there and stay up there. Fellas, get the rest of them cats out of here. Pull the chute door open. Sultan the tiger is going to fight sure as I'm a foot high. Get that fire hose down. Please, hurry. I'll keep the two apart as long as I can. It's no use. I'm going to have to sell Sultan to a zoo and quit the animal training business. I just can't conquer him, that's all.
That's not your problem, Flick.
What do you mean?
I mean, you've got to conquer yourself before you can conquer Sultan.
Yeah? How do I go about that?
Have you ever come to the one who has all power?
You mean...
Yes, God. God gave Samson the power to kill a lion with his bare hands. And he kept Daniel safe in the lion's den.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill. Bill, I think that's what I need most of all. I need to know God. Would you tell me how I can do it?
It would give me the greatest pleasure in all the world, Flick.
Hey, Flick, where are you, huh? Flick!
Excuse me, Bill. Right here, Sam. What's wrong, man? You look scared to death.
It's Sultan. He's breaking out of his cage. He's running loose at the south end of the building.
Lefty, Shorty, Steve, Mitch, get around the other side with your rifles. No shooting until I say so. Stay away from the lion.
Okay.
Sheriff, get those people back away from here. We're going to try to take Sultan alive. You ready, Flick?
Yeah, I'm ready. Got whip, pole, revolver.
Both your revolvers loaded with blanks?
What? No, of course not. You know, I always carry one revolver loaded with real bullets when working with Sultan.
Not this time. Here, let me have those real bullets. Put in blanks. Real bullets won't help Flick Martin conquer himself. How about it?
Okay, Bill, you win. I'll take the real bullets out now and I'll give them back to you.
I've got some of the best riflemen in the state to cover you.
Okay, Bill. Here are the real bullets.
Okay.
Now I'm ready. Ready as I'll ever be. Just beat and rattle his cage bars when I close in for the final attack at the crucial moment. Here goes.
We'll be praying for you, Sonny. And also be ready with old Betsy here, too. Sultan sees Flick coming after him. Look at him watching Flick. Fellas, the battle is on. Flick versus Sultan.
Sultan, you gotta get back into your cage, and quick. I'm coming up that pile of straw bales after you and master you, you king of beasts. You see me coming, don't you?
What a scene this is. My blood's almost turned to ice or something. Flick's climbing up the bales of straw towards Sultan. Sultan's waiting, watching.
There isn't much room on top of that stack of straw bales. Sultan's beginning to crouch for attack.
He's backing to edge of stack and give him more room to jump. Maybe we should shoot now before Sultan kill Flick.
Nobody shoots until I give the word. That's an order. This is Flick's battle. Let's be ready to rattle the cage bars when Flick gives the word.
Flick's almost to the top now.
There you are, Mr. Tough Guy. You're coiling your haunches under you for the spring to attack and kill. You're not saying much. You're planning, watching, waiting. I'll strike first. And now I'm playing your game, wild king of beasts.
It's an ornery-looking whip. I hope Sultan respects it.
Sultan took his claws into Flick's whip. Look, he snatched it right out of his hands.
Sultan's gonna spring. You see him tense his body? He'll roar when he does. This is it, fellas.
You've got my whip now, and you're gonna charge. Yes, you're gonna roar and come at me. When you do, I'll be there first. Into your cage. Into your cage. Now I'm Sultan. Get in!
Congratulations, Flick. You came through marvelously.
Phew. One ordeal like that in a lifetime is enough.
I'll say it is. How do you think we felt watching you two up there? What happened when he charged you? Seems like all of a sudden he seemed to stop in midair. Leaped right off the stack and headed for his cage.
Well, I decided that after he got my whip, I had to act fast because I knew he was going to charge at any second. So when I saw him tense and began to move slightly toward me, I charged him and beat him right on the nose with my pole. He was stunned and surprised and ran for his cage.
I would too if some guy beat me on the beak with a broom handle. Yes, sirree, I'd get for safety and fast.
Well, fellas, I won, and that makes me happy, though exhausted. But Tell me again, just why did you take those bullets away from me?
Because your biggest enemy was not Sultan. It was yourself. Bullets wouldn't help you conquer yourself. Only you and the Lord could do that.
Mm-hmm. I see. And that brings us to where we left off a half hour ago. Tell me, Bill, how can I know God as you know him?
Well, boys and girls, suppose you drop around the ranger station next week for more adventure with
Ranger Bill!